Is the Rowdy back in Busch? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more.
3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Todd Brown, That Racing Show. Thanks for dropping by for this pit stop segment, the post-cota episode. And dude, do we got some stuff to talk about today? I mean, come on. Racing action on the racetrack, confrontations off the racetrack. Such a wild weekend. And man, this track is going to deliver this for the rest of the time NASCAR is going to be racing. Now, take a look at this last year here, going into the same turn. I mean, calamity. That's what I call it, calamity corner, because it's just a wild, wild turn. Track is not built, was not set up for NASCAR like this or these type cars. So it's going to be interesting for however long we stay there. But obviously, this year, the talk is Christopher Bell and Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch turning back into Rowdy Busch. That's the question. Is Rowdy back? Or are we going to get the family man Kyle back? But anyways, let's take a look at this. Christopher Bell coming into the turn. Getting in there just a little bit late under Kyle Busch, who was apexing the turn. Gets into the door, sends him around, and poof. Instant Rowdy Busch reincarnated. And we saw that after they got out of the race cars. Kyle Busch coming on the pit road, getting out, and taking that walk down to say, let's talk about this, boy. Now, a lot of people are talking about that it looked like Christopher Bell was about in the point of tears. Obviously, he was shaken up. May have actually been shaking a little bit at that point. But I think there's a lot more to that than just a fear or an intimidation or anything like that, which I'm going to talk about here in just a moment. But the words of Kyle Busch, he asked him, if I ever spun you out, did I ever take you out? Which Christopher said no. And he told him, you got that coming to you, boy. And, man, that got me thinking there, thinking about some things. And, well, I'll just let you form your own opinion with this.
Trying to go to the inside of the 62 right here. Little contact, spins the 20.
Didn't take much, did it, guys?
Not at all. And we know those cars are very delicate. Those toe links can get bent pretty easy on both.
Now, obviously, that was not on-track action like a deliberate spin. But nonetheless, Kyle Busch has taken out Christopher Bell. He sent him around. So when I look at the scorecard, we got one up here for Bell. We got one over here for Busch. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out throughout the rest of the year. But once again, I want to focus on something else here because I don't think Christopher was as much shaken or nervous or scared or anything like that. I think it was something that was almost probably hurtful to him in so many ways because he has respected Kyle Busch in the past. He's looked up to him. And in fact, they worked together. Christopher Bell brought a championship home to Kyle Busch Motorsports in the Truck Series in 2017. And Kyle Busch is invested in Christopher Bell. He invested in his future. Obviously, sponsor money comes in and everything else, but there was an investment into that young man's future, and I think that's where Kyle was at. It might have been a little bit of a mentorship coming down to him to say, you know, man, I've been there for you. Don't do this to me because now you crossed the line, and we got a whole new set of rules out there on the racetrack. So it's going to be interesting to see what does play out. But in that year, 2017, this is what Kyle Busch had to say about Christopher Bell.
You know, to be able to see Christopher mature and grow and to get into the role that he's in this year from where he was last year, it just goes to show you that these guys develop, and we do a good job of developing these guys. And I couldn't be more proud of Christopher and his family, and congratulations to them. And
so at that time, you could see a lot of respect there, a lot that he was putting into this guy's future. Obviously, they were teammates over there at Joe Gibbs Racing, and we all know the story of what happened there. So there might be, you know, a little resentment in that whole presentation right there that come out. But either way, going to be an interesting year, and I'm looking forward to all this. Another the really wild thing about that 2017 championship with these guys was Rudy Fugel was up on top of the pit box for them at that time, and you know, he goes out there with that 24 this weekend and kicks all their ass. So maybe they should have kept him around a little. But either way, interesting weekend. Christopher Bell and Kyle Busch. Now, let's talk about the other Kyle out there on the racetrack. Christopher Bell just not having a good time with the Kyles out there in NASCAR this weekend. Also ping-ponging off of Kyle Larson. Let's take a look at this. Coming into the turn, got in there a little bit hard, caught that bumper, sent him around, and wow, you know, obviously Larson not happy about it, and Christopher Bell sitting there going, man, I'm chalking up these people that are going to come back at me. Let's listen to what he had to say.
I mean, well, first off, the Larson incident was 100% my fault. That one was, you know, I hate saying sorry, and I didn't mean to do it, but I clearly did not mean to spin out Kyle. At that point in the race, I was just hanging on Kyle Larson, that is.
Now, interestingly enough, this is not the first time that these two have had conflicts themselves. And more interestingly, it was on the road courses going into turn 1 at Watkins Glen. I think this was 2021. But let's take a look at this, and we'll follow up.
Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson. Larson looks to the inside, trying to take second away from Christopher Bell. And contact made. Bell goes around. Larson stays going the right direction.
Now, following that, Kyle Larson had a lot of different views on it, a lot of different takes on it. And he sat down with Sirius Radio to talk about it. Take a listen.
Initially, I thought, you know, I was completely at the wrong. Like I said, after watching more of the replays, I don't think I was fully at the wrong. I mean, I reached out and tried, but I guess he's not willing to talk to me, which, you know, is kind of whatever. I think any other adult in the field would at least have a conversation with you, but you know, he doesn't care to. So we'll move on from it, and you know, if he wants to get me back, that's fine.
So Kyle Larson saying that Christopher Bell basically didn't answer him, saying, you know, any other man out there would, but Christopher didn't do it. Christopher did not feel that way about it himself, and he had his own words to say about that.
On-track incident, whatever, and him crying to the media that I didn't reply to his sorry text message, like, come on. Did this cross the line, the on-track incident? No, it did not cross the line. Him going to the media complaining that I didn't respond, yes, I would say that crossed the line.
So some differences of opinion on what took place with this right here. But undoubtedly, these are two of the best drivers we got in the Cup Series these days. Kyle Larson, obviously a NASCAR Cup champion, and undoubtedly Christopher Bell will be a Cup champion. I have no doubt about that. And these two got a lot of history together, a lot of racing on the dirt tracks throughout the years. Unfortunately, Christopher can't be doing that anymore with Joe Gibbs Racing, but still a lot of history with them and a lot more future to go. A lot of great racing ahead. So it's going to be really interesting to follow these, see how Christopher Bell does race both Kyles, and more interesting than that, to see how both Kyles race Christopher Bell throughout the rest of the season. But looking forward, man. Looking forward to the whole future. But anyways, I want your opinions on everything here. How do you feel about Rowdy Busch? Do you think Rowdy's back? You think the guy's back that we used to know, the confrontational, you know, the guy that had some very interesting post-race interviews and comments, or are we going to see him just go back to the guy he's kind of been? Not saying he hasn't been a little bit of the Rowdy, but he hasn't been the old Rowdy. So interesting there. But how do you feel about all this stuff? And man, if you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting on? Come on, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, give a episode a like, and down here, throw them comments down, because I love to talk racing with you. And man, that's what this is all about. But hope everybody out there is off to a great week. And as always, we'll see you at the checkered flag.